Okay, let's just admit it. The internet is chaotic. So in all that noise, how does anyone actually get noticed? Well, it turns out there are basically three main ways, three pathways people take to grab what might be the most valuable resource we have today. We're going to break down that whole playbook, the good, the bad, and the complicated. We're talking about fame, infamy, and victimhood. But before we get into all that, let me ask you something. In this totally hyper-connected world we live in, what do you think is the most valuable currency? I'll give you a hint. It's not money. It's not even power, really. It's actually the one thing you're giving me this very second.
Yep, it's attention. I mean, think about it. Every single click, every view, every share. It's like a tiny transaction in this massive, non-stop new economy. And in this economy, pretty much everyone is competing. So the real question is, how do you win?
All right, let's start with the first one, the path most people think of. It's the most traditional route, the one we all kind of grew up with, the path of fame.
You know, fame used to be pretty straightforward. It was a result of some kind of big achievement, right? You had to do something amazing to earn it. But yeah, the internet blew up those rules. Now it's really all about visibility. This is that aspirational path, the one built on people admiring you and giving you positive feedback. They either want to be you or at least be like you.
And the way you get this new kind of fame, it's totally different. You don't have to be a Nobel Prize-winning scientist anymore. You can literally build a huge brand just by curating this perfect-looking lifestyle or having a really charismatic personality, or honestly, just getting super lucky with one viral video. It's wild. The persona you build can actually become way more important than what you've actually done.
And of course, the rewards are pretty clear. Fame gives you a massive platform, right? It gives you real influence. And, just on a deep human level, it gives you recognition. It makes you feel seen, validated. And that's a really powerful driver for people.
Okay, but what if you don't have the time, or the talent, or maybe just the plain old luck to get famous? Well, there's another way. A shortcut, if you will. This is the dark twin of fame, the path of infamy.
So if fame is the long game, right? The one built on people admiring you, infamy is the absolute shortcut. It just completely skips over the need for anyone to like you. It's aiming for just one thing, a reaction. Any reaction. It's built on notoriety, and let me tell you, it works scarily well.
So how does it work? Simple. You're deliberately provocative. You create controversy. You pick fights. You break social norms. All of that stuff is like throwing gasoline on the algorithmic fire. I mean, think about it. Outrage spreads so much faster than inspiration does, and the system, it just rewards the biggest fire.
And this right here, this is the core logic of the entire system. In an economy that only really counts engagement, the algorithm literally cannot tell the difference between love and hate. A hate watch, that's a view. An angry comment, that's engagement. To the machine, it is all just attention.
Okay, so that brings us to our third pathway. This one's a little more subtle and definitely more emotionally complex. It's the path of victimhood.
So this pathway taps into a really, really powerful human emotion, empathy. By highlighting your struggles, by positioning yourself as someone who's been wronged, you can generate this huge wave of sympathy and support. It's basically an attention strategy that's built on getting a community to validate you through shared emotion.
The strategic part here is how it works. It doesn't need achievement like fame, and it doesn't need provocation like infamy. It just goes straight for empathy. Now, I want to be super clear here. This isn't about saying genuine suffering isn't real. Of course it is. This is about recognizing when that hardship becomes a performance, when it's used as a tool to get moral leverage, and yeah, ultimately to get attention.
So there you have it, fame, infamy, and victimhood. But why these three? Why have they, specifically, become the dominant ways to get noticed? Well, the answer isn't in the people, really. It's in the system itself. It's all part of the algorithm's grand design.
Just look at fame and infamy side by side for a second. The difference is, well, it's huge. Fame is slow, it's aspirational, it's built on people looking up to you. Infamy is fast, it's reactionary, and it's built on notoriety. If you're a brand or a person and you want to grow fast, you can see why that shortcut looks so appealing.
And this is really the aha moment. The best way to understand this whole thing is to think of these pathways as different business models. Seriously, fame is like a premium, luxury brand, right? It takes forever to build that trust and value. Infamy, that's the tabloid model. It just generates massive volume through shock and awe. And Victimhood, that's kind of like a cause-based nonprofit brand. It attracts this super loyal base by appealing to emotion and a sense of morality. Each one is a totally viable market strategy just for capturing attention.
And the reason these strategies are so dominant is that our entire digital world is basically built for them. The algorithms, they couldn't care less about truth or quality, they just want engagement. Our culture is obsessed with going viral. And hey, when you're competing with literally billions of other voices, tapping into those really strong emotions, aspiration, outrage, empathy, that's just the most effective way to get heard. But of course, this crazy, non-stop race for visibility, it doesn't come for free. There is a real price to pay, not just for the individuals chasing it, but for our culture as a whole. And that brings us to a really tough question. If getting noticed is the only goal, then what kind of behavior becomes acceptable? Where is the line between just promoting yourself and straight-up manipulation, especially when we're talking about using infamy or performative victimhood to get ahead?
Because at the end of the day, this isn't really just about online strategy. It's about a really deep, fundamental human need. In a world where so much of our existence is validated by whether or not we're visible, attention is what makes us feel real. It leads to that question, right? If you're not seen online, do you even really exist anymore? And when you think about it that way, there's a kind of an inevitable conclusion. If being visible becomes the main way we measure our own self-worth, then of course people are going to use the most effective tools they can find to get it. The system itself basically creates the behavior it rewards.
So that kind of leaves all of us with a final question to think about. As we're all participating in this new economy every day, what are you willing to trade for attention? What's the real cost of being seen?